Hi, my name's Matt,
And I'm Lisa.
and these are things you need to know and consider before you book a cruise.
We have our 10th cruise coming up, and we thought we'd share some tips from our experiences.
So just a disclaimer, all of our cruises have been on Royal Caribbean. These tips will mostly go across all cruise lines, but a few might be specific to Royal Caribbean only. Our first consideration is the time of year. We try to avoid hurricane season, which is June 1st through November 30th, with most hurricanes forming between August and October. Cruise ships do offer insurance, and it is definitely something that you will probably want to look into and research to see what exactly is covered.
Another thing you'll want to consider is spring break season, which generally happens in March. You'll get more college students on the cruise ship. You'll get more families with children. So you'll find that the pool deck is much busier most of the day, and there's more of a party atmosphere.
Another time of year consideration is the holidays. The holidays tend to be more expensive cruises, and they also tend to have a lot more families. So if you're interested in spending time with your family over the holidays, that's a good option, but no, you're probably going to spend a little bit more.
Another thing about the holiday season, especially in December, is the ships do have a more of a holiday feel. So they are decorated for the seasons, so that's kind of nice. But like he did say, it can be more expensive. But if you're willing to pay that, it can be a fun, festive feeling.
The next thing we consider is the length of the cruise. In our experience, the shorter the cruise, the more of a party atmosphere. The longer the cruise, the little bit older and more mature the crowd is. When considering the length of the cruise, sometimes the price difference between a 3 and 4 night cruise is not that much more, and also between a 4 and 5 night cruise. You'll definitely want to look into the prices between the different lengths of cruises because it might not be that much more money to go an extra day or two. Two considerations when booking a cruise are what boat you want to go on and which ports those boats go to. Different boats have different options and different amenities. If you're looking to spend a lot of time on the boat, you're probably going to want a bigger, better boat that has a lot more to do while you're on it. If you don't care so much about the boat and you're more looking at the ports, you're going to want to pay attention to those. So you might be limited on which ports you can go to if you want a specific ship, and vice versa. If you want a specific port, you're probably going to be limited on what ships you can take. And also consider the port of origination. We have only been on Caribbean cruises, and we've been out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Tampa, Orlando, and Puerto Rico. One thing with Puerto Rico is we have not been there since the big hurricane. Going to Puerto Rico is going to cost more to fly there, but the port is near the airport, and there's lots to do within walking distance, and you can take a bus around town that's very convenient. Miami is also close to the airport, and there are things to do, especially near the ocean and near the port. The Orlando airport is a distance away from the port, and that adds quite an expense to get to the port from the airport. In Tampa, the activities were limited, but the airport is close to the port. In Fort Lauderdale, the airport is also close to the port, and Fort Lauderdale has a lot to do, a lot to walk to.
What's nice about Fort Lauderdale is they have a trolley that's affordable, and it's only a few dollars to take the trolley. It takes you all down to the shops, down to the beach. So if you go down there a day or two in advance, we've really enjoyed going down there and hanging out. And we also stay at a hotel down there, so that's nice.
One thing to consider about the newer, bigger ships is they are going to cost more money.
On that same token, though, there is a lot more to do on those ships, and the entertainment can be better. Some of them have Broadway shows on them, so sometimes you do get more for your money if you go on those bigger ships.
One thing to consider about your itinerary is the number of sea days. If you have a lot of sea days, you might want to make sure you have a ship with a lot of activities to keep you busy, because there will be more downtime. So now that you've made those choices, you need to decide what kind of room that you want. So the cheapest option is an interior room. With an interior room, it'll be small, and you are not going to get any daylight.
With a window room, it is also small and cheaper, but then you get the daylight from the window.
And the next option up, which is also a popular option, is a balcony room. Balcony room costs a little bit more money, but you're going to get a bigger room. You're going to get the balcony, which will give you a lot of daylight, and also a private space to hang out away from the crowds. And the last option, but the most expensive option, is suites. The rooms are bigger, the balconies are bigger, and they come with extra perks. Some of those extra perks include a special check-in line, a special lounge for boarding, special seating at shows, at the pool, Some cruise lines offer extra points for their loyalty program. Once you have figured out what kind of room you want, the next consideration is where on the boat do you want that room. Picking midship tends to be the best option. As you get less pitch, which is forward and back, you tend to get less motion in the middle of the ship, and you're never very far from anything on the boat. A benefit of an upper floor is if you have an outside view, you're probably going to get a little bit better view because you're higher up and you'll be able to see more.
One thing to consider if you are a person who tends to get seasick or motion sick is you might not want to be on the upper floors because if the ship is rolling from side to side, it can make it worse. So if you tend to get seasick, you'll probably want to be on a lower floor then.
And a big consideration of where your room is located is what's above you and what's near you. One of our experiences is we were below the Windjammer on a Royal Caribbean ship, and we were woken up at 4 o'clock every morning with rolling carts. Another consideration is what's near your room on the same floor, because if you're near the Centrum or an open area where there's lots of music late at night, that might be disturbing.
We have also found from the Centrum and certain ships, if you're near the casino is the one place generally on Royal where they do allow people to smoke indoors, so the smoke can really creep out of there. So if you're near that, if smoke bothers you, you probably don't want a room near the Centrum.
And once you've narrowed everything down and you're ready to book, there's two things to take into consideration, whether you want a refundable or a non-refundable deposit. A non-refundable deposit will not allow you to get your money back if you cancel, but it does tend to give you better onboard credit and a slightly discounted rate. And with a refundable deposit, you can get your money back if you decide to cancel. But you aren't going to get as much onboard credit, and you probably are going to pay a little bit more for that fare. And this last piece is personal preference. Some people will tell you to book with a travel agent. We prefer to book directly through the cruise ship because if there are any problems, then we can take care of them ourselves and not rely on somebody else. Because if you did book through a travel agent, Royal Caribbean will not talk to you. They will only talk to the travel agent. So if you found this video informative, make sure you click that like button. And if you have any other tips that you'd like to pass along and have us include in a future video, make sure you leave those in the comments down below. Also, if you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below and we will respond to those. On our next cruise, it's a 9-night cruise and we're going to be vlogging every day. So make sure you click that subscribe button so you can be notified when those videos are posted. We're also going to be doing some more cruise tip videos, so make sure you keep an eye out for those.
Thanks for checking out our video. We'll see you again soon.